Well, hello, Nicola. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks, Likky. How are you?
Good, thank you. I love the flag in the background.
Oh, yeah, it's our dining room. So,
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I met Nicola at a workshop in Florida a few weeks back, and I wanted to just have a quick conversation with you on, how did you end up in this whole Go-Givers family? What was the reasons for that?
um, so like many things, you read something and suddenly you realize that there's this voice that's speaking a language that you already know quite well.
Mhm.
And I think that's what Bob did when he wrote The Go-Giver. So, to use a different analogy, when Martin Luther King did his I Have a Dream speech, the people that turned up in their thousands weren't people that wanted to become people that believed in equality. They already were people that believed in equality. So
Hmm.
I think mainly when I give the go giver to people, I often precede it with the words of, "Hey, I think this is you. You might like this book." And that was a bit like when I first found The Go Giver as a book. We read it, as in I read it, gave it to my husband. He said, "Oh yeah, this is how all our success has happened." And I said, "Oh yeah," and it's got all these rules that we can help embed into our business. And again, so many of our people are already thinking and acting like that, and it just made it easier because it gave it a voice.
That's incredible. So, how long ago did you read the book?
Wow, a few years ago, maybe longer. It was relatively early on. If but like I said, it felt like it's always been part of me. So yeah, I can't
You
remember.
know, it's
A
interesting.
while.
The book is really simple. I was given the book about 7 years ago, and it really resonated home because, yes, I was living it, but not consistently in all of them all the time. And I say that, I mean, there's 5 laws in the book, and all 5 laws, if you just naturally do them, life just becomes so much easier.
Which one
And,
did you have the most challenge with?
it was the last one, law of receiving.
Me too.
Yeah, it was a real eye opener, and when I overcame that, there was a big opening for me on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so tell me, how are you putting this philosophy into your work and into your personal life?
So, with work, what we do is before even somebody joins the company. So, first of all, when we found the book, we gave it to everybody. Like we wrapped it up and we had a whole company meeting about it. And we said, "This is who we think we are. And do you all agree?" And we all did. But now, before people even join in, like the interview, we're talking about who we are as a business. They get, because titania colors are purple. Look, I'm living my values. Um, so titania color is purple, and before they join, our team get this big purple envelope come through the post, and it's like really shiny. And then inside it is a copy of the Go Giver, and obviously their terms and conditions and all the normal, this is what we expect you to do. But yeah, and a card from the team, sort of welcoming them. So right from the very beginning, it's kind of value up front. So it's both ways. Yeah.
Excellent. And how about in your personal life?
Yeah, so that one, yeah, giving value in my personal life is probably harder because there isn't that much left of my personal life by the time I've. But what I tend to do there is I'm a big fan of continual learning. It's like a real drive for me. It's something I've always loved doing, and it's what took me from um, a relatively impoverished background compared to a lot of my friends, to being a multimillionaire. So what I tend to do is when I do a lot of that is I spread that around. So quite a lot of my personal time is actually taken up speaking about diversity and inclusion, about learning. Imposter syndrome, often delivered to ladies groups, for example. It's something that we often struggle with. So, that go giving tends to be in there. And then through that, I tend to have people connect with me and say, "Hey, I'm struggling with this, or that touched a chord, and then I'll either give them what I've got, or I'll pass them on to somebody who is normally far more capable than me to help. So yeah.
Excellent. So tell me something. What inspiration have you come out of this after the workshop?
Oh, wow. So I immediately came back and then spoke to all of the people in some of our business groups that we go to, and they gave them a brief summary. And I know I know that I take visual notes, so I kind of shared the visual notes with them and said, hey, it's a really great excuse to fly over to Florida, and maybe some of you guys might want to do that. And then I've spoken to a few business coaches that I know, and they've asked me to speak at the marketing summit on Go Giving. So yeah, so that was a big rider to joining the program formally, so that I could use the information authentically.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's right. So now you've joined the coaches and speaker program. So congratulations and welcome to the family.
Yeah, thank you. You can be my older brother if you like.
Not a problem. I would love to do that. I'd love to do that. You know, it has, so, you know, I've committed to the program. I've committed to sharing this. We've given away lots of books, and I'm saying lots as in hundreds of books, because it makes a difference when people start following this. When you see organizational shift happen, when they start giving the philosophy and they actually believe it, they actually give more value than they take in payment, and they're actually being authentic about it and learning to work with the team in that way. That company really shifts. No matter, you know, I'm a business coach as well, and every philosophy I put into play has to start with a go-giver philosophy, and just makes life so much easier. So, you know, I'm looking forward to working with you in the future, and I think you're going to be a great asset to the family. So, welcome.
I love what you, I saw a video of yours quite recently where you linked it with EOS, and I thought that was really nice the way you wrapped that process part with the EOS mentality, which is the go-giver mentality, because they talk about value up front a lot in their program as well, in their coaching program. So I could see how those two would resonate quite well. So I really loved watching that, actually. I loved the way you put it together, and I thought that was really, really quite cool that you've embedded that into, you know, maybe where people come with a process problem, and you've added the mentality of go giving and adding value to all those different aspects, which I thought was really quite neat.
Well, thank you. Yeah, you know, we did, you know, there's the EOS model, and then we've actually shifted a little bit. We've added our own plus, and our own plus is basically 2 full sessions on go giving. And it makes every time we've implemented that with our clients, it's made a big difference. So awesome.
I think, yeah,
No,
I think it helps everybody sort of join together, doesn't it?
it does. So last takeaway, what was one thing, one big tidbit that you want to share with people that have not read the Go Giver?
I probably would say, think about all the people that you like dealing with, because it's really hard when you first look at those rules and go, oh, your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you receive in payment. But I do this for the payment, right? That's what businesses do. And then you go, okay, well, let's flip that. Let's look at all the people that you choose to book. Let's look at all the people that you choose to give your payments to. What's the one thing that they consistently bring you? And quite often value is at the heart of it when you really unpack it, is that person has demonstrated that your interest is being put above their interest, and it's that mutual win. And that really helps people understand what we mean by that. It isn't self-sacrifice, it's actually mutual winning. And that then helps tie in with that, when your hands are open giving, they can, you know, receive payment as well. That's fair. So yeah, that I think that challenge when people first encounter it, if they're not already in that go giving mentality, is, you know, who would you choose to give your cash to? That sometimes can open that conversation.
That's perfect. That's perfect. You know, every time I talk about the Go Giver to somebody who hasn't read it, they're like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm a giver, and I give things, and then it'll come back to me in such a good way." Yeah, that's called pay it forward, which is an incredible way to live. I think
Yeah,
we all have that in our genes, and we do that because that's us as human beings. And then there's a bunch of go-getters out there, get up in the morning and do everything they need to do, which is perfect. That makes them drive. The go-giver philosophy is actually giving way more in value than taking in payment, but it's actually to make a really good, healthy living if you live that.
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
what I love about it. It's not a one two three bang and you're going to make a lot of money. No, it's actually putting a philosophy in place, making connections and real lasting connections, and giving the value and being real with people. It actually creates a healthy place to live.
Do you find that with, say, for example, sales teams, because obviously they've often been programmed by working in other companies where it's like, go get, um, pitch,
Yes.
the ABCs of selling. And I always, before I went and did the Entrepreneurial Academy, I was sort of talking and saying, well, maybe it's always be connecting, um, rather than, sorry, that's my dishwasher beeping.
That's okay.
Maybe always be connecting, or always be, you know,
Closing.
yeah. Closing wasn't ever one of those things that because I had a career in sales. It wasn't.
Right.
I think that because you can't close somebody, you can't push a rope.
That's right.
You can't get somebody to do something they don't want to do, and if they did, they'd probably just cancel it anyway. So when you're connecting and you're trying to find what is it that this person genuinely needs, and then you're just helping them get there. One, it's a service mentality, and two, it we've got just a room full of really great salespeople
Mm-hmm.
who just want to help. And the thing is, as soon as you say, look, no, we don't want you to be thinking like that. We want you to be connecting. We want you to be finding the problem. We want you to be helping your clients solve that problem. It's almost just like they join the company and they're like, oh, wow, we can be ourselves. We don't, we're not going to lean on us. You're not going to fire us if we take a while finding that solution. Like, no, that's what we're here for. But that translates to great renewal rates. That translates to really great business. That translates to referrals and to recommendations. And that's how Titania grew, is through that mentality. So I think that having the go-giver right up front really helps that client connection based sales process too. And that I think that as an industry is something that would really benefit from the go-giver, because I think sometimes it's, well, you've got to get to give, and that's not the mentality that it actually teaches. You've just got to give, and kind of getting is the measure of how well you did it.
Exactly.
Rather, it's not tied.
That's right. No, I totally agree with that. And, I work with a lot of sales organizations and, they go, we can't just shift like this. We just can't overnight start doing this. I said, no, you don't need to. You shouldn't do that because you still have to have your business the way it's used to. So
Yeah.
start choosing either one or two service people and salespeople and start shifting them over and see when the benefit comes in. Then all of a sudden it's just going to be contagious, and that's okay. You can't, we don't want you to shift right away because it's going to be hard. Would love for you to do that. We know it's going to result in benefits for you, but we understand there's a bit of a roadblock for you. So that's okay. Take one at a time and see what happens. And every time they've done that, they've succeeded and things have actually shifted. And we just keep on talking about the go-giver philosophy. Every quarter we get with them, or every chance we get with them in a sales meeting, we keep on talking about this. And all of a sudden it takes a little bit of time to shift, but it does work.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It is really hard if you've maybe in places where, maybe you've got a sales manager and they're just pushing for figures, and that, can lead to the wrong types of behavior. Whereas actually, if it's all client focused, that shift process can be painful. Yeah. Because there's going to be that dip before the overall rise typically. But then the actual revenue is more.
Awesome.
It just,
yeah. Well, Nicola, thank you very much. I know you're 8 hours ahead of me. In how do you say your city name again?
so Worcester.
What is it? Worcester.
Worcester, like the sauce.
There you go. There you go. Well, thank you very much. I look forward to working with you in the future.
Yeah, you too. And thanks. It's been really, really cool connecting and seeing your face again.
Awesome.